Something crazy has just happened. I never really thought that it was going to be the case, but now it seems like Sony has officially now considered in order to take over Ubisoft and purchase the entire company. Now, initially, I kind of had an idea that maybe, Sony could be the ones that are actually going to end up purchasing Ubisoft, but it seems like it's actually finally happening and Sony is now officially considering it. And since Ubisoft is at a very bad position as of now, this information that we have just received is actually pretty good, because if Sony ends up buying Ubisoft, I think it's going to be for the good, because if there's any company that I would honestly want Ubisoft to be purchased, I don't think it's going to be Tencent, definitely. But if Sony is going to be doing it, if PlayStation is going to take over Ubisoft, I think they're going to make some quality ass games in the future, man. Because right now, take a look at what we have just received. First, Sony made a very huge move in order to buy the Kadokawa Asian studios, and now it seems like they're actually going in to purchase Ubisoft itself. Now, these are the new acquisitions that Sony is currently trying for, and the entire list just came up. First off, it's From Software, which Sony is definitely going to be making a huge leap in order to purchase that studio. And apart from that, Sony also tried to purchase CD Projekt Red, whereas they said that's not going to be possible. But From Software, they said yes, maybe it's going to happen. We don't know. But From Software, they actually kind of agreed to this, and we might finally get to see that Sony might end up purchasing the entire studio itself and making all the future From Software games exclusive only to the PlayStation 5 consoles. Now, thankfully, CD Projekt Red said no, because they are one of those studios that definitely want to make some mod supports and, release games on PC versions and all the. And at the same time, I don't think CDPR is currently in a state where they actually need money. That's probably why they refused it. And Kojima also said no. And Square Enix said no. Ballistic Moon is begging to actually be bought. And Jetpack Interactive is begging to be bought. Take-Two Interactive actually said that maybe you might end up buying us, but then it's going to cost a lot of money. Now just imagine if Sony ends up buying Take-Two Interactive, then that's just going to be one of the most insane things ever, because they are like the parent company of Rockstar Games. And if Sony buys Take-Two Interactive, I don't really know if that's going to give them like full rights onto all the games that Rockstar Games releases. And if that's going to happen, I think GTA 6 might become exclusive on the PlayStation platform, and that's just going to boost the sales of PlayStation consoles itself, comparing that with Xbox or even the PC generations. And now moving on, Ubisoft actually said that maybe, but since the company is basically going into bankruptcy and they're not in a good stand, it's very likely that Sony might officially end up purchasing Ubisoft forever. This could actually be a major news that we might eventually get to hear in the upcoming days, and if that happens, I'm not going to be surprised. Sony is going to be one of the best companies to in fact purchase Ubisoft, especially with all the Assassin's Creed stuff that Ubisoft is currently making, with the new hub system that Ubisoft is trying to create, which is pretty much the same as to what Microsoft is currently doing with Activision's acquisition, where they are now running the Call of Duty hub and all that stuff. So, I think it's going to be safe if Sony kind of just purchases Ubisoft and also gets to run like the Assassin's Creed hub and whatnot. And here comes one of the main guys. Remedy Entertainment is actually begging to be bought by PlayStation, and Konami said no, but let's license things together and let's release it together, but we're not going to get purchased by Sony completely. So it kind of makes sense. It seems like Sony's got like shitloads of money right now to invest, acquire as many studios as they possibly can, and they're just going in for like the big guys. They even went in for Take-Two Interactive. If GTA 6 ends up being like an exclusive for the PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 6 consoles, man, that's just going to be insane. And there's going to be absolutely no way for Microsoft or any upcoming consoles or any competition to even counter whatever they could do if they end up purchasing Take-Two Interactive. That's going to be like the major thing if Sony is able to get it. But it seems like, Take-Two has indeed said that maybe we might be for sale, but it's going to cost a lot. So if Sony does have like the pocket to spare, I think it's going to be one of the biggest investment that they should definitely invest on if they want to grow PlayStation to a level where it's definitely not going to get any sort of competition in the future. But that, of course, means that it's going to be bad for consumers because there will not be any sort of competition left anymore. So Sony is basically going to do anything they want. They might simply just price games in any way they possibly can and also push in microtransactions and get as greedy as possible. And there is literally no competition whatsoever. And that's of course going to be a bad side in terms of consumer point of view. So I don't think these exclusivity is actually going to be a good stuff for us gamers at least, but for the company it's going to be very good if they end up purchasing this stuff. But yeah, it seems like Ubisoft is finally in fact for sale, and we'll get to see if we hear any more information about all of this situation. And a lot of people are actually upset about this, and some people are happy because, you know, currently whoever is handling Ubisoft, I don't think that they're handling it well. But yeah, we also got some more updates here. If Sony were to acquire Ubisoft or Capcom, it could redefine the landscape of gaming, but potentially limiting some of these franchises to PlayStation platforms, influencing multi-platform game developments, and possibly leading a concentration of creating control under fewer corporate entities. And guess what? Since Ubisoft is now for sale, it however doesn't mean that Sony is the only one who's got the highest pocket that's available as of now. Microsoft is also in the game because right now the rumor states that Xbox is also looking to acquire Ubisoft. It's not just Sony that's looking for in order to acquire Ubisoft and all these different development studios. It's also going to be Microsoft. Xbox also has a tiny bit of pocket, but I don't think they're going to be investing as much as what Sony is currently going to be doing because they recently just purchased Activision and they own Call of Duty and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a big move for Sony if they end up taking over Ubisoft, man. Because currently, if you take a look at the state of the company, it's at $2.59, which is like all-time low. And these are like the audited statements for Ubisoft. And as of 30th October 2024, while Ubisoft has an USD market value of about $1.7 billion today, Sony has more than enough cash to pull this off. So just imagine, Sony currently has a budget of $11.5 billion in order to acquire studios, and Ubisoft is currently at sale for $1.7 billion. It's just going to be like peanuts for Sony in order to just simply go ahead and purchase the studio, just closing their eyes, because it's definitely going to be worth it if they end up getting Ubisoft forever, man. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you guys think about this whole situation that's going on with Sony, Ubisoft, and also Take-Two Interactive, and all of these different companies that, you know, Sony, PlayStation is trying to acquire? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. It would, of course, be a very, very interesting discussion in the comment section. Now, with that being said, if you guys want to support me as a creator, just please take a few seconds of your valuable time, drop a like on this video, and subscribe for more updates like these every single day. 4 videos. I keep you guys updated with all the latest content in the gaming industry. Now, with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day, and I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video. Until then, take it easy, fams, and goodbye.